See if I can share this out with a few people, and then we'll be on our way. So yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit. I've gotten a couple of questions about how to deal with some anxiety, deal with a lot of stuff that's been coming up from being quarantined, being at home, having to change your life, having to, hey Takesha, having to change a few things. So, this is a topic that I know some people have been waiting on. I was trying to see if a couple of people wanted to go live about it, some of the people that were asking me the questions, but you know what? We're just going to go for it. Make sure to let me know that you can hear me clearly. Let me know if I need to plug in my headphones, because if I need to do that, I will do that. But we're going to briefly talk about, I'm going to briefly share some things. And if you have any questions or want to describe exactly the type of anxiety that you're going through right now, hey, Katina, then, we can talk about that as well. But I did definitely want to talk about some of the effects that some of people are feeling. I'm clear? Perfect. As you can see, I'm still in the office. I haven't left yet. So, I was like, you know what? If I don't go live now, child, look, by the time I get home, I'm going to start doing other stuff and I'm just not going to do it. Okay. So, listen. And let me turn myself down to my other phone. All right, so listen. So, yes, like I said, I have been asked for my therapeutic insight, on how to navigate. And I know there's lots of blogs, there's lots of tips, there's lots of, just kind of surface level stuff going around about what you can do, how you can help. And it's not bad information. But the longer that we're practicing stay at home and safer at home measures, the longer people are kind of like, what do I do with myself? What do I do with my life? What do I do with my thoughts? What do I do with my, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So I'm going to try to discuss just a couple of those things. But like I said, along the way, if you have any questions whatsoever, just go ahead and send those questions in. We'll talk about those as well. And if you're catching this on the replay, you could go ahead and say hi. Let me know that you're here, that you're watching the replay. If you're watching the replay, if you're watching it live, say hey, give me a waving emoji. Let me know that you're here. And we will just, go right through it. So lots going on. Not going to get into the details of it. I hope that you are keeping safe. I hope your family is safe. I hope your friends are safe. For those of you watching that are still having to leave your home to go to work, I hope you're able to find groceries. That's like a really hard thing because, you're at work still. I know during hurricane seasons, because, I'm contracted through the school system as well as my private practice. So during hurricane seasons, when we're unsure of whether a hurricane is coming or not, but schools are still in session, it is very difficult for me to figure out, when am I going to the grocery store? When am I going to do my hurricane shopping? So in these types of times when there's scarcity and things like that, it's really hard to, let me just go on and put this on Do Not Disturb. It can be difficult to figure out how to navigate your life especially if you're still trying to, navigate your life. So different anxieties are rising for different people, in different ways, different reasons. All kinds of stuff is going on right now. I've got my clients that I'm talking to. Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in. We're talking about having some anxieties right now. People who are dealing with some anxieties. We're talking about a lot of stuff. Now, there are people I've had clients who's some of their anxieties have been lessened because of this, because they're not ripping and running and trying to juggle so many things, having to be so many places and trying to, figure life out. So I have some clients that have been, hey Barbara, hey Suzanne, hey Lita, how are you? I see you guys tuning in. How you doing? But like I said, I've had some clients that have been able to, manage, and they've been all right. And then I've had some clients that the longer we're in, they're starting to, it's getting hard. It's getting difficult for them. And so I want to just talk a little bit about some stuff. Now, of course, we've got our normal things that, they're telling us, get outside, get outdoors. Maybe those of us who live in Florida, we may not always realize the benefit of sun because we get sun so often, so much of the time. But there are areas of our country, hey Alicia, there are areas of our country when it gets darker and it's gloomy, or certain times of the year based on the weather and where the sun is and where, things of that nature, that depression spikes. So the fact that there's a lot of mental health professionals saying go outside, it's for multiple reasons. It's because sunlight does help us lift our spirits. Taking a walk sometimes, getting your muscles moving, getting your endorphins going, and that helps elevate our mood as well. We got to get outside and walk. I don't care if you walk around the neighborhood. I know the parks are closed. I know a lot of people are used to getting up and going and walking the track at their neighborhood park or a nearby park. Find something. I personally I have a balcony on my house, but then I also have like a back patio area. But on the balcony is where I had like a high boy table with two chairs, high chairs. So I moved it from the balcony to the back area where there's the grill. So I sit back there sometimes and I just sit there, and it's nice and it's sunlit and it's calm, cozy, comfortable. It's not something I've done before, but it's something I'm doing now because, it's nice. So sometimes when I may want to, I feel like going to a restaurant. Okay, I may go get some takeout and sit outside. And there's that. That's what I can do. So one exercise that I do want to give to people is something that it's not a new exercise. I'm not reinventing the wheel, but it's something that works, and it's something that you can use over and over and over and over again. So for those of you who are still tuned in with me, hit share, like, invite, watch party, whatever you got to do, because I want to get this information out to people to help them during this time try to manage their anxieties and try to manage the things that they may be trying to juggle and figure out and deal with right now. But while you're hitting share, while you're doing all of that, I'm going to give you guys a second to let me know, how are you doing? How are you faring? Suzanne, you said you're doing good. You asked me how I was doing. I'm doing pretty good. I'm managing. I'm making it. So far, so good. I'm hanging in there, Like I said, I'm sitting in my office right now. Thank God that my office is not in a building that is, super high traffic. And a few of the businesses have gone ahead and decided to close. But I do see some of my clients virtually as well. So business is still booming. I still got my clients. I'm seeing them virtually. And so we're still, I'm still checking in with them, seeing how they're doing, seeing what's going on. So even though I'm working remotely, I'm still working, which is a blessing. It is a blessing. I feel blessed. I have no complaints whatsoever right now. God is good for this job that I've got and for this career that I'm in right now. So Alicia, I see you said that you're doing good too. I'm loving that. I'm hearing that. I'm glad that you're doing well. I need to see somebody else saying, "Hi, Barbara, you're hanging in there." Some moments of anxiety are trying to creep in. Good. I need you to stay on this feed then, because I'm going to try to help you. I'm going to share with people who anxiety is starting to happen. Because let me tell you, when this hit, for some people, anxiety kicked in just like that. But for some people, we were busy. We were, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to make sure that I got? Do I have all my shopping? Have I done this? Have I done that? We kind of had a list in our head. Dakisha, I see you're doing good. Good, girl. Keep it up. But I see some, there are people, but the longer, hey, Audrey, thank you for joining. We're checking in, seeing how everybody's doing. The longer that we're here and, the date keeps getting extended for those of you like me who are in the state of Florida, we just got a safer at home. Well, in Dade County, Simone, hey, how you doing? You doing good? Good stuff. Good stuff. How's the family? In Dade County, we had a safer at home order issued a couple weeks ago, and now it's statewide, safer at home initiative. So the longer things are going, it's for the entire month of April, by the way. So the longer that we are practicing the safer at home initiative, the more some people are starting to develop more anxieties about safer at home. What do I do? What activities do I do with the kids? Like people are feeling anxious because they feel like they're running out of ideas. Hey, LaWanda, how are you? So I just want to come to you to try to show you guys an exercise that I do with some of my clients. I do it with myself. I've used it on myself for years. Look, get a load of these nails. I'm with y'all ladies. I miss my nail tech. I miss Shalon. Okay, I miss Shalon. Everything else I can pretty much handle on my own. I can retwist my dreads when time comes. I can, I can make my eyebrows work. I can deal with it. But child, these nails, when they get longer, ooh-wee, this is gonna be interesting. So here's the thing I want to tell you. This is one very small exercise that was found in that book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. So this is a variation of something that was in that book. And I want to share it with you because I use it often. And it's called the Circle of Influence and the Circle of Concern. So I usually do this. I'll get a sheet of paper. I try to do it in my head sometimes because I've done it so much for so many years. But there's times when there's so much going on in my head that I have to write it on a sheet of paper. Get a piece of paper. I mean, if you're highly technological and you got, your iPad and your Apple Pen, or you got your Samsung and your your stylus, and you want to draw it on your iPad, knock yourself out. But you will never go wrong with a standard sheet of paper, just a regular sheet of paper. In desperate times, for desperate measures, if I've had to use a napkin or a paper towel or the back of a paper plate, whatever I need to do to calm myself, to get my anxiety down under control. Hey, Cynthia and Chantra, how are you? Thank you for joining. We're talking about trying to handle our anxieties during this time, during these quarantines, these stay-at-home orders, these safer-at-home orders. We're trying to get that going. So get yourself a piece of paper. You're going to literally draw on it. Now, I don't want to hear nothing about my drawing skills, okay? I don't want to hear nothing about my drawing skills. But you're literally going to draw on it. Now, I've got a small notepad. If you want to get a regular size sheet of notebook paper, that's fine. But I have my smaller pad because it fits right here in the, in the camera, so you can see what I'm doing. You're going to draw basically a donut. You're going to basically draw a donut, just like this. Okay, so you've drawn your donut. You got your donut. Cool, wonderful. On the inside, this is our circle of influence. Let me write an I in here. It's our circle of influence. The outer circle is our circle of concern. Now, the circle of influence, you write in that circle all the things that you directly have control over. You yourself have control over these things. They're things that you can manage, things that you can do, things that you can, like, if you don't do it, it won't get done, So things of that nature. What I may have someone do, what I may have a client do that's got a million things on their mind is I may have them take a blank sheet of paper, okay, and literally just write down all the things that's on their mind. Just write them all down. It doesn't have to be in any order. It doesn't have to make sense. It just has to be everything that runs through your mind. Write it all down on a piece of paper. Groceries, dishes. And these are first things coming to my mind, which means I probably am thinking about the fact that when I get home, I'm going to wash dishes. It is what it is. Laundry, homework, whatever, whatever it is, work schedule, getting a nap in, doing some exercising, just whatever is on the list, just write it all down, right? And then you go back to your donut, okay? And you write down, you put in there where everything actually goes. The circle of influence, like I said, is what you can actually do, what you have control over. You have direct control over that thing. The circle of concern is just that, things that you are concerned about, but you don't have any control over them, but you're concerned about them. Like, let me put it like this. During this, okay, let me just take the pandemic, for example. My parents don't live here in the state of Florida. They're a couple of states away. I am, of course, immensely concerned about my parents. I've talked to them multiple times a day, video chat, need to know how they're doing, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I may want them to stay home. I may want them to use Instacart instead of going to the grocery store. These are all things that I want. What can I do? I can't control that. I can't force them. You know what I mean? Like, I can't make them use Instacart. I can't make them stay home. Even if I go online and order the Instacart myself, pay for it, and have it sent to them, how do I know that they stayed home to receive the Instacart delivery? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have control over that. Hey, LaQuelle, how are you? How is everything going for you and your family? So I don't have direct control over that. So for my parents, much as I love them, they would go in my circle of concern. You see how that works? I hope this isn't backwards, whatever, on the camera, but you get the point. That's in my circle of concern. I don't have to get up as early in the morning to get dressed to be somewhere by a certain amount of time. Okay, good to hear all is well. Hey, cousin, how are you? How you doing? So I don't have to get up. So what I did was I got up this morning and I joined a Zoom personal training session because I can take care of my health. I can do that, right? That's something I have complete control over, whether or not I exercise or not. So where do you think that's going to go? In my circle of influence. So exercise. That's in my circle of influence. I have complete control over whether or not I do or don't exercise. So that's what your circle of influence is. It's your direct control, what you have complete control over in your life, what you can't control, but you are completely concerned with. Like you're concerned with this thing. It's on your mind. You know, it literally, you're concerned about it. It goes in your circle of concern. So let's see, what else? Cleanliness. Clean. Whether I keep my house clean or not. Well, that's on me. That's in my circle of influence, you know. So let's start talking about some other stuff. So you put, you know, all your chores in your list. Let's start talking about some other stuff. Worry. One big thing about anxiety is that we tend to worry a lot. Those of us who deal with anxiety, we tend to worry about a lot of stuff. We tend to really, really worry. Well, we can make a list of all the things that we're worried about and put them into whether or not we can control those things or not. You know, I worry. Here's the funny part. I actually have been very calm. I haven't had my breaking point yet. Could come. I don't know. But as of now, I've been quite calm throughout this pandemic. I've just been doing what I can do. I've been paying a lot of attention to what's in my circle of influence. Okay, Laquelle brought up something good. Her students. Laquelle is a phenomenal educator, and she does a lot for her students. She truly cares about and thinks about her students on a regular basis. I've seen some of her posts, and that takes somebody who truly has a heart for these kids, for education. Now, she can create the lesson plans. She can create a learning environment, an effective learning environment. She can decorate. She can be very creative. Those are all things that can fall in her circle of influence. Being motivational to her students. But now, whether or not they do their work, it's a concern. You really want them to, because you want them to succeed. But she can't crawl up in their brains and make them do it. But she can be motivational. See, you do what you can do. One thing I do want to leave a lot of parents right now with this education, this schooling from home thing. Give yourselves a break. I've seen a lot of posts on social media, some of them humorous, and I have no problem with that. Please, 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 my teachers, and if they're following through, true. Also, whether or not the teachers are following through with the parts that they're supposed to be doing. Also something that's of huge concern. Following up with them is something that you can control, whether or not you do or don't follow up with them. So you kind of try to get a grasp on what is it that I can do, what is it I can't do. And I'm going to be honest, you may get to a point where you find something on your list that when you really drill down and think about it, it doesn't fall in your circle of influence. It doesn't even fall in your circle of concern. It's just kind of like floating out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of floating out there. Like, oh, we live streaming. Is my church going to live stream this Sunday? Well, I don't control that. And yeah, I'm curious. But it's probably not something that's going to rest on my brain a whole lot. So it may find its way kind of out here somewhere. Still on my paper, but it's not in my donut. You see what I mean? Sometimes when we're really drilling down to see what is important, what do I need to really be thinking about right now? What can I really dedicate this energy, my energy, to thinking about and looking at? That's when you start to say, okay, you know what? That's not really as urgent right now. That's not really something I need to spend a whole lot of time on right now. So if you reduce your list of stuff that you have to do, you can start to reduce some of the anxieties around those things. Because if I take something off my list that's probably not my big deal anyway, I don't have no control over it anyway, then the anxieties attached to that thing also come away. I don't have that anymore. Now, the post that I got the other day was asking for, tips and tricks, which is really hard to give because different people's anxieties are triggered by very different things. So it's kind of hard to give a straight up, oh yeah, well, you know what, to keep your anxiety down, take a walk, make sure you drink some water, probably stay away from caffeine that makes you jittery. I could give you that list. I really could, but I don't know if that's helpful. I don't know if that's helpful to you. And to be honest, you could probably Google and find that exact same list somewhere. And that's okay. If that's what works for you, then that's what works for you. But to try to help you drill down a lot of the thoughts that are happening, this is a method that I use with many, many, many of my clients and myself. I've used it myself for years. And so I wanted to just give you a brief overview on that. For those of you who have joined since I started this, what I'm doing is I'm showing them the circle of influence and the circle of concern. I call it's my donuts. It's my donut. This is the circle of influence, which is everything that you can control, things that you directly have control over in your life and in your household. I have friends that there are things that I would love for them to do because I think that it would be so helpful for their lifestyle. Doesn't go in here. That doesn't go in here. I don't control their lives. It doesn't go in here. So I may express myself, I really think maybe you should consider XYZ. And then, you know what? I have to just leave that where it is. I really have to leave that where it is because it's nothing I can control. I have to divert my attention to the things that I can control, which when we really sit back and look at it, it ain't as much as we think it is. But that's another chat for another time. So yeah, just wanted to come on here briefly before I left the office for the day to kind of give you that exercise to go through. You can, do it with your kids. You can do it with, and some based on some people's lifestyles, they may have to do it once a week or once a day to try to prioritize what gets done that day, or try to prioritize what gets done that week, or in which order they need to try to pay what attention to. So when you start to look at the mountain of things that are happening in our lives and the things that we have now become so concerned with, when we start to break it down, like I said, when I take something off my list because it's not something I can control anyway, I'm also removing the anxieties attached to that thing from my list as well. You're very welcome, Lita. Very, very welcome. That's great. Now, I'll probably be coming back another time to talk about something that's been going on, which is what I have started calling a withdrawal. There's a lot of people going through withdrawal. Withdrawal of what, you say? I'm glad you asked. Withdrawal of distractions. A lot of people have spent a lot of their lives probably not even recognizing it, that they have filled their time with things that are actually distractions. Distractions from what? Distractions from a number of things, but distractions from yourself, distractions from what's going on in your own mind, distractions from your thoughts, distractions from your feelings, distraction from your past, distraction from your trauma, distraction from your moods, distraction from whatever. You don't want to think about it, so you find something to fill your life with. You don't want to feel that feeling, so you find something to avoid it with. So now that we have a great reduction of distractions, people are feeling a lot of stuff. People are thinking a lot of stuff, and it's affecting a lot of people in some very interesting ways. Very interesting ways. So what do you do now when you have realized that you have filled your life with so many distractions, and now you find yourself not so distracted? What do you do? That will be the next video. So share this with somebody who you think needs it, that may find their anxieties increasing the longer that we have been, sequestered. Some people are fully quarantined. Some people are practicing stay at home. Some people are safer at home. Some people out here just not taking this seriously at all. And you know what? I'll pray for them, but I can't put them in my circle of influence because I can't do anything about that anyway. All right. So thank you all for joining me. Hope this was helpful. And if you need anything else, then, you can always find me in the inbox or tag me or whatever you got to do. Okay. Everybody, please stay safe. Check on your loved ones. And I hope you're all doing well. Let's talk to you guys later.